Hello summoners, and welcome back to another ProGuides mid-patch update video. My name is Nathan Ng, and I just want to take this time to say thank you all for the amazing support that I've been receiving in the comments, as well as on my Instagram, at Nathan_ING. It really means a lot to me, and I am genuinely lucky to be a part of this community. But I also want to take this time to say that if you haven't been very supportive, well, I hope you end up in iron. Today I'll be going over the strongest champions using fresh statistics to give you guys the best and most accurate tier lists available. We encourage all of our viewers to comment on these lists and say if you agree or disagree with us on specific champion placements. There were a ton of major changes made since the start of this patch, and our challenger analysts and partnered pro players are so excited to bring you guys the updated lists. And today's question of the day is, have you ever met a friend on League who you're still close to this day? For me, I met my friend Ed, who I knew since high school, who is an amazing and selfless dude. It also helped me stay close to my friends, as well as my best friend Steven, while we were all in different colleges. League is a community, and if you decide to engage in it and put yourself out there, you may be pleasantly surprised. So, be an Ivern or Maokai and branch out. Before we get started, if you want to improve and climb the ladder in League of Legends, be sure to set yourself up with a challenger coach at ProGuides.com. Now, let's get started with the top lane. The top lane tier list sees a lot of major changes in our mid-patch update. Firstly, in S+ tier, we have 3 champions, which are Set, Ornn, and welcoming back a familiar face, Sona. Sona top was hard nerfed at the start of patch 10.4, and also we received more hotfixes shortly after. However, it turns out that these barrage of nerfs were still nowhere close to removing Sona from the top lane meta. She's still dominating the top lane with a whopping 58% win rate. Her ability to bully her opponents and run away with zero counterplay makes her laning phase a living nightmare, and she's not even Nocturne. If you main top lane, then give Sona top a try. This build is confirmed to receive more nerfs in 10.5, so abuse it while you can. The other 2 champions in the S+ tier are Ornn and Set, which are also very extremely impressive right now and are confirmed to receive nerfs in the next patch. Make sure to smash that sub button to stay notified on all the changes of our patch rundown next week. Next up in the top lane S tier, we have Mordekaiser, Darius, Vladimir, Fiora, Renekton, Shen, and Garen. Shen has been added to the top lane S tier thanks to the buffs made to Sunfire Cape at the start of the patch. This item is super strong right now, and it allows tanks to duel their bruiser counterparts without falling behind in damage. Combine that and the added burst with the Sunfire Cape from Shen's already powerful early to mid game damage, and you have a 1v1 split pushing machine. Give Shen a try, our analysts highly recommend it. In the A tier, we have a few new tank champions, which are Maokai and Poppy. Poppy is currently one of the most underrated champions in the game and is very powerful with the new Bambi Cinder. Fun fact, a Korean challenger player recently hit top 10 on the ladder by only one-tricking Poppy. She acts as a great counter to the majority of the meta thanks to her W being able to stop mobility. If you see the enemy pick Fiora, Aurelia, Camille, or even Riven, then lock in Poppy. You're going to tilt the heck out of them. Now, let's move on to the jungle. The jungle tier list sees a lot of major changes in our patch 10.4 update. In the S+ tier, we have 3 champions, which are Elise, Echo, and welcoming a new member, Zac. Zac has slingshotted his way to the top of the tier list thanks to the buffs made to Cinderhulk. He's currently the most reliable jungler out of all the S+ tier champs and holds one of the highest jungle win rates while having a 12% play rate. That is just insane. If you main jungle, then give him a try. He's super easy, super fun, and super OP. In the S tier, we have Lee Sin, Olaf, Rek'Sai, J4, Karthus, Shaco, Trundle, and Nunu. Trundle has been added to the S tier thanks to the return of the tank meta. Since his ultimate can turn tanks into walking cheese strings, Trundle is the perfect counter to the jungle meta. With picks like Nunu, Sejuani, and Zac seeing more play, Trundle will be a great pickup for all the jungle mains. For the A tier, we want to talk about 2 new picks, which are Mumu and Shyvana. Shyvana's win rate this patch has just skyrocketed, and she's just gaining a lot of popularity in Korean solo queue. The most popular build right now is her full AP burst build, which revolves around her getting your dragon form and 2-shotting people with your E. Amumu received some buffs at the start of patch 10.4, and he's been doing surprisingly well. When you look at the ranks of Platinum and below, Amumu is a really solid jungler. Having the cooldown reduction on his ult and dash speed increase on his Q allows him to be more impactful throughout the game. When it comes to the unconventional junglers like Darius, Diana, Talon, and Garen, they're not doing so hot right now. Their win rates are abysmal and they're currently B tier or below. Zed, Mordekaiser, and Gnar currently do not have enough stats to be placed in our tier list accurately. Zed is likely a really bad jungler due to his slow and unhealthy clear, and Mordekaiser will most likely be placed somewhere in the C or B tier. As for Gnar, our analysts are predicting that he's actually the strongest out of the bunch and he will be somewhere near the A tier when we gather enough stats. Now moving on to the mid lane. The mid lane tier list sees a couple of changes in our 10.4 update. In the S plus tier, we have Fizz, Diana, and Qiyana. These 3 champions have been at the top of the tier list for quite some time, so none of them should come to a surprise. In the S tier, we have Kassadin, Katarina, Echo, Cassiopeia, Vladimir, Talon, Zed, and Yasuo. Yasuo has been doing extremely well in the Korean solo queue, and he has made his way onto the S tier roster. Right now, he's hovering around 50% win rate and a 10% pick rate, which is really good for high skill cap champion like Yasuo. In the A tier, we have one pick that we want to talk about, which is Ornn. Although he's traditionally played as a top laner, Ornn is ridiculously strong in pretty much any role he goes to. A lot of pro teams have been prioritizing Ornn in the draft due to how strong his flex potential is in the mid lane. This is an uncommon pick, so give it a try as soon as you can. It'll likely catch your opponents off guard and they'll have no idea how to play against it. Ornn is confirmed for nerfs in patch 10.5, so grab that freelo in the next week. Also in the mid lane, we have to give Nocturne some attention. His win rate in the mid lane is currently 55%, which is rather high. Although his play rate is relatively low, Noct mid is underrated in the current patch. He acts as a great counter to a lot of popular picks such as Qiyana, Yasuo, Zed, Diana, and Sylas, so he'll be worth spending some time to learn. Lastly, let's talk about the OP funnel combo, which is Master Yi and Taric. Personally, I do not condone the funnel combo, and despite receiving a lot of nerfs recently, this combo is still broken and Korean and Chinese elo boosters are abusing this to no end. They're hitting Master Tier and Grandmaster Tier with win rates as high as 80%. In fact, Taric is actually the highest win rate mid in the game with 63% thanks to this strat. Our analysts are predicting that this strat will be nerfed soon, so pick up a duo and give it a try before it does. But if I see you in my solo queue games, I will not respect you. Alright, now onto the AD carries. The AD carry tier list sees a few changes compared to the list that we had at the start of the patch. In the S plus tier, we have 3 champions, which are Miss Fortune, Senna, and Caitlyn. These 3 champs have been dominant for quite some time, so none of them should come to a surprise. In the S tier, we have Vayne, Ezreal, Lucian, Jinx, my boy Aphelios, and Kai'Sa. Vayne and Ezreal have been seeing a lot more play in the current meta. A lot of Ezreal mains have been opting to swap to Lethal Tempo, which has boosted his play rate quite a bit. We mentioned this build a couple patches ago before it became meta, and our analysts predict that this would be the new mainstream build. We always keep you up to date with the latest and best builds, so smash that sub button to stay notified. Aphelios got hit with a lot of heavy nerfs, and he's finally dropped from the S plus tier down to the S tier. He's still an insanely powerful champion who can potentially 1v9 games, but now there is some more clarity and counterplay to his kit. Pro players are still going to be able to abuse him in their competitive matches, but solo queue players will probably struggle to play him at an optimal level. One interesting thing that you might have noticed in our tier list is that Kalista has leaped from D tier into the B tier this patch. Although she didn't receive any major buffs, Kalista has managed to do this thanks to the meta shifting in her favor. Since tanks are being played a lot more, champions like Kalista, Vayne, and Kog'Maw have started thriving once again. Their ability to completely melt and kite tanks with ease make them a very valuable pick in the current patch. Kog'Maw is still the weakest out of the 3, but he's still definitely a lot stronger than before. Now, finally onto the supports. The support tier list only sees a few changes in our 10.4 update. In the S plus tier, we have the same old engaged supports, which are Nautilus, Leona, and Blitzcrank. Blitz is the weakest out of all 3, with Leona being the strongest and Nautilus falling very close second. However, that does not mean that any of these champs are weak. They are extremely strong and you should be picking them whenever you can in solo queue. In the S tier, we have Thresh, Senna, Nami, Pyke, Morgana, Lulu, and Bard. These champions will also bring some great results in rank, so make sure to learn a handful of these. Our analysts would recommend Thresh, Senna, and Lulu. Lulu specifically has been rising in popularity and she's one of the rising stars in Korean solo queue. She has been receiving a ton of major buffs recently, which is why Lulu is considered to be so powerful. Sona has been dropped from the A tier down to the B tier this patch due to the hotfix nerfs that she receives in 10.4. The initial changes weren't even bad for her, but those hotfix nerfs were some heavy hits. If this trend continues, it looks like Sona will be dropped even lower down to the C tier, so stay tuned to find out. And that's it for the mid-patch analysis video for 10.4. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please hit that like, comment, and subscribe button and be notified for our next vid. Also, make sure to check out ProGuides.com if you want to see huge improvements in your rank. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the Rift.